I'm Bob Zarkov, the Game Cat.
And I'm Lily, the Game Unicorn.
And you're watching Viewer Takeover.
And you're watching Viewer Takeover.
And don't forget to give us a big thumbs up.
And don't forget to give us a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.
This is Viewer Takeover, where we film every Monday night, and then we air it every Tuesday morning, which just means I don't sleep at all. This is the most ridiculous schedule we've ever had. But
this is crazy.
But it's the best we got, so we're going to stick with it. And of course, this is Viewer Takeover, where we make you the star of every single show. As always, I'm Brian Paul, and to my right, your left, Desiree Lestrange.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, yeah, no, this is like the fourth show we filmed tonight.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really exciting. First up, we want to thank a very special cat and unicorn. We want to thank Bob Zarkov, the Game Cat, and Lily, the Game Unicorn, for that amazing.
Absolutely adorable. The cutest thing I've ever seen. And Lily wasn't bad either.
It was definitely a memorable Viewer Takeover introduction.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so very much for that. And we're going to try to keep the swearing to a minimum today so Lily can watch. Thank you guys so very much. If you want to introduce next week's, not you two, you've already done this week.
Yeah.
If the rest of you, any of the rest of you, not you, Lily, down in front, want to introduce next week's show, make sure you send your short, sweet, adorable. There we go. Introduction to withoutparole@gmail.com. Remember, it's a Gmail account, so keep it short, keep it simple, keep it low resolution.
Yes.
Right? But of course, there's other people we need to thank.
Record this way, not this way.
Yeah. What's it called? Landscape, not portrait?
Yeah.
Bob
But if they know those words, they know not to do it.
Let's hope so. But Bob Zarkov and Lily are not the only people we want to thank this week, are they, Des?
No, we want to thank these fine folks down here.
These people down here, these are the Patreon supporters. These are the loyal fluffies of the fluffy cats that went to patreon.com/withoutparole.
Games.
And giving us $1 or more every single month.
Games.
Did you see that your finger last week totally lined up with Madman in Black the Game Cat? Oh. Everyone thought I edited it that way, and I was like, no, I don't have that kind of time. I laughed out loud when I was editing when your finger totally just followed his name right across the screen.
Right, same speed and everything?
It was perfection. Des doesn't have time to watch, so I have to tell him what happens on previous episodes.
I am a god.
Last time on Viewer Takeover. So thank you.
I don't watch this crap.
Also, just want to give you a heads up. If you support us on Patreon, your name not only goes on this list, but also we give you episodes of Litterbox almost every single week.
Woohoo!
Litterbox is just me and Des talking behind the scenes about Without Parole stuff, PSVR stuff, and just whatever conversations we were going to have anyway. But we hit record on the camera so you can watch them.
I think we got a good one this week too.
Yeah.
Sometime around when this one airs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But of course, Bob, Lily, and these folks down here are not the only people we want to thank.
No, they are not.
We also want to thank
the wonderful folks who have supported us in yet another way by changing their name to Something the Game Cat on YouTube.
Following Beauty and the Decay's lead.
Yes.
Formerly Beauty and the Decay, now known as Matt the Game Cat.
Yeah. So this week, we have Martin Patchell, the Game Cat.
He's somewhere up there. Good. Thank you for the support, Martin. Appreciate it.
And Lloyd has finally made an appearance. We have Tab Lloyd _ Game Cat.
For anyone who doesn't know, Lloyd's the guy in the Sony basement flipping the switches on all of the VR games, making them happen. Thank you, Lloyd.
We have Silly Gamer, the Game Cat.
I like it. Very, very, yeah.
They're all just straight and to the point this week. I kind of like that.
They are.
And then Chris, the Game Cat.
That's straight and to the point.
Boom. Game Cat, Game Cat, Game Cat. We like it.
But real quick here, guys, if you change your name to Game Cat here on YouTube or on Google, make sure you put #GameCat somewhere so in the comments so we can find you. I've seen so many new Game Cats on live streams, but I can't go looking through a 12-hour No Man's Sky live stream in the comments for all the new Game Cats. You guys just please somewhere in the comments, if we didn't give you a shout out this week or if we've never given you a shout out and you deserve one, somewhere in the comments #GameCat.
Yep.
Thank you very, very much. It's such a warm, fluffy feeling to see that people change their name.
It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling.
No idea.
No?
No.
Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Song at the end.
You know what? I'm so disappointed.
Mhm.
The Mr. Rogers documentary came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I bet there was so many, things behind the scenes where, maybe Mr. Rogers, what's his real name? Fred Rogers.
Fred Rogers.
Yeah. Like maybe he was an awful person behind the scenes.
Oh, no.
It's pretty much the lamest documentary ever because it's just like, look how great this guy was from beginning to end.
No, it's amazing. Well, that's what it's amazing. That's the real him.
I know.
Like, he's not putting on a character.
Man, corruption is so much more fun than lovey-dovey stuff. I want corruption.
Yeah.
I want scandal. Anyway, Lily's watching. We have to be nice.
Not with Fred, man. Do not mess with Fred.
Don't mess with Fred. Nope. All right, but the other way you can take part in Viewer Takeover is by actually putting the hashtag Viewer Takeover in your comments. If it's something you want us to read and discuss or answer on this show, hashtag Viewer Takeover in your comment, or click that Discord link in the description and head on over there, join the never-ending conversation where all the Game Cats hang out, and go to the Viewer Takeover channel there and leave your questions there. So, lots of ways you can be part of Viewer Takeover. All right, leading the charge this week, Billy Paw, the Game Cat. Yeah, if you didn't know, we always meow if we say Game Cat. From PSVR this week, he writes, Insomniac just got bought by Sony. That happened yesterday, by the way. Which has huge implications considering their status as a AAA developer in the flat screen and VR space. But in your opinion, what exactly should Sony do with such a talented studio? Hashtag Viewer Takeover.
So for someone who may not be paying attention, what VR games or what big games is Insomniac known for?
I think their big one, obviously for non-VR, is last year's Spider-Man.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. PS4 exclusive, so we're already kind of heading down that road.
Right.
They have such an amazing relationship with Sony already. They were, they're obviously the people behind the Ratchet and Clank games.
Yeah.
In that Ratchet remake, the earlier days of PS4 was amazing. But they also did Sunset Overdrive.
I was going to say,
Xbox.
yeah, that was like one of the big launch titles for
and
Xbox
still
One.
an exclusive.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. I can't believe that actually never made it on over. But of course, they, as far as VR games, they have an assortment of VR games they've worked on. I think the big one is the upcoming Stormland. Which is an Oculus exclusive. So these guys, also they made Resistance.
Yes.
Fall of Man. So here we are. AJ had just made the list of the top 5 PlayStation Classic games that he wanted, to come to VR. And now we're getting that developer who made Resistance, one of the games on his list, as an exclusive Sony developer.
Yeah.
So, in my book, it's a little tough because they've got this ability to make these big AAA non-VR games that'll sell tens of millions of copies.
Yeah.
So, do you take those resources from that kind of developer and put them on a VR game, or do you split the team up? What do you do?
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I don't know. Because that's one of the things. Like, you've got this huge talent pool, and Spider-Man has been one of their biggest hits for I think in the life of the console, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's real hard to not say, okay, Spider-Man 2, go.
Right. But also they've been, they've obviously been making big games. While they were making Spider-Man, they were obviously able to put out these smaller VR games.
Yeah.
So, so is the team big enough at this point? I mean, they've been around forever. They must be pretty big. They're able to make these big open world games and put out games on a regular basis. So the team must be big enough where they either have a VR division or they're just able to split the team up in different ways, and schedule their games so they're constantly coming out.
But I just as much as AJ, nothing personal, but I've said this before. I don't want to see Sony dump all this money into Insomniac just to say, okay, now make a port of one of your old games.
But what about a new version of Resistance where it's using the aim controller and really using the benefits of VR?
Well, and that's the important thing. I want them to put their creativity, put their team, put their talent behind. We're going to make something for VR.
Yeah.
Not something that's flat, and also we'll give you a VR version. Something like an Astrobot that's just this needs to exist in VR because we're going to use this genre to the best of its ability.
Yeah.
That's what I want to say. I don't want to see, here's our flat game. Oh, and also.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully I'm right when I say this, but if Sony was interested in taking a Resistance game and porting it over to VR, hopefully they wouldn't be using a big team like this.
That's what Lloyd's for.
That's what Lloyd's for. You know, there are studios out there. You know, I know Blue Point is more about remastering. I think, is it Escalation that brought Skyrim into VR?
Look, yeah.
But there are teams out there that are really good at doing
I don't
this
want
kind
to
of
be
port
dismissive.
process.
I mean, that is hard work. Like we
Sure.
joke about Lloyd, but that's really, really hard work to do that. So I'm not, you know.
No, of course not.
We respect you guys.
Of course.
Thank you.
So that's the thing. I just really hope at this point. I just really hope at this point that Insomniac is big enough where we're going to see not only quality exclusive PS5 titles, but also quality exclusive PSVR titles as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. I feel like Sony's got so many studios working on PlayStation 5 games. That we almost don't need more of those exclusives. Like, we have so many big studios making AAA games for that.
Yeah.
But we have almost no first party or Sony-owned studios making PSVR games.
Yep.
And I think that's something that they really need to change very quickly as this next generation approaches. Yeah. All right, you're up, Asia.
All right. From K-Panic on the No Man's Sky 12-hour live stream.
Yeah, I hear that happened. I don't remember it.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
PTSD.
Just blackout. Doesn't get blackout drunk anymore. He gets blackout VR. Hashtag viewer takeover. Great NMS launch stream, Brian. Hope Jeremy and Dez can join the live. Hope Jeremy and Dez can join the live top 20 tomorrow. Nope. No, we can't. You know, Jeremy and I, our role on the channel isn't really keeping up to date with like the hottest titles. I mean, mine never has been. So I think something like the top 20, that's definitely like I think it's better done with, you know, Brian, AJ, and Dave Station, and with input from the community, like live as it happens. I think that was a great idea because we're talking in the past tense now because it's already happened.
Yeah.
You know, I think what we did was perfect. And if you'd like to take a look at it, go ahead and join our Patreon. But you know, they do the hard work, and I get to swoop in later and pick it apart. So, you know, win-win for me.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, K-Panic, for watching some of the stream, if not all of it. Jeez.
Don't watch
it was all a blur.
Yeah.
As it probably
Literally.
should have been. Oh yeah, it's pretty blurry, but still an amazing game. I don't ever want to be that guy that's like, oh my god, the game's so blurry, it's total trash. As I saw a lot of people with that response to No Man's Sky, going, what did you really expect? Like it's such a massive game.
It's an entire universe on a Blu-ray.
That the fact that it's running on the OG that well.
The fact that it's running.
That's also very true. And also, you know, a ton of respect to Hello Games for getting in there and patching all these issues right off the bat. I mean, very, very quickly, we had issues with the Nexus and in frame rate and in blue screen crashes. It seems like a lot of that's been taken care of already. No. I would love input from you and Jeremy as far as the top 20 is concerned. But unfortunately, Jeremy and you both have full-time jobs. You both are dealing with, I don't want to say dealing, but you know, you both have families, you both have kids, you both have you know, maybe significant others. I'm not sure, I have no idea what's going on with Jeremy these days. I don't ask questions sometimes. But yeah, so you know, we're doing the best we can with the resources that we have. I just hope one day when I see questions like this, when people say, you know, occasionally we get the comment that says, I really miss Des being on Gamescast Live, you know, when we all sat around this table and did that. You know, one day, I hope we're at that point where, hey, we get to do that again, you know, but with the limited amount of resources and, you know, basically I'm the only full-time employee.
Limited resources is a different podcast. We don't do that one.
No. We really hope that without Parole, we eventually grow and evolve into this thing where you're going to see a lot more of Jeremy and a lot more of Des frequently. We're just not there yet, and we're just trying to do the best we can with what we have at the moment.
I kind of like the status of Game Cat Emeritus. Just kind of come in and like, okay, give my opinion and walk away. Yep. All right.
You want to switch roles? Because that sounds kind of nice.
Isn't that great? Yeah. Awesome.
Nice. All right. I think I'm up. Dan Kiefer writes on Viewer Takeover. I have to admit, I'm not just excited for No Man's Sky Beyond, but the impact this could have on PSVR, especially now that LA Noire is also coming to PSVR. Could this be the beginning of more past and current titles getting VR compatibility? Will 2020 be the year of big PSVR games?
Yeah, I think the question is like, Here's the weird. I guess we'll have to see how many more headsets get sold after this launch, because we've made the point, and I think you sold me on it, because I don't know, it was a viewer taker. We were basically saying how you thought this was going to be a system seller, and I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think it was last week's viewer takeover.
Yeah, it was last week's viewer takeover, and you said you made a great point. It's like, no, so many people already have this game that don't have the headset,
and they're obsessed with this game,
right?
And they want to bring it to its full potential.
Yeah. And so I think the answer is going to be, this quarter, Sony will look back at its headset sales and say, we sold X amount this time last year. We sold, oh my gosh, X times 30 amount, this year, and that I think will be the big answer for you. And how much, like, my other question, and this is just me asking out of ignorance, how much influence or money or support did Sony put up for Hello Games making this into VR?
Both the fact that it also came to PC VR simultaneously.
Yeah,
I'm going to say probably not much.
All right,
because it was just their mission statement to do it. My big thing, the thing that this question makes me wonder more about, is what are other developers thinking when they see a game like No Man's Sky come to VR, and the developers of Subnautica, the developers of Elite Dangerous, who have explicitly said, "It just can't be done. Yeah. We can't do it. We can't make this on PSVR. It's too much. The system's not powerful enough." It sort of makes you look silly when Hello Games takes an epic, expansive, procedurally generated, unbelievably over the top game, adds Beyond update with more multiplayer support, with all these additions, and it runs fine.
Yeah,
even on the OG PS4.
I think in some meeting rooms, some conference rooms, when they made the announcement, there were just some serious spit takes being done.
Yeah.
Like, oh, No Man's Sky is going to go VR, and then it actually launched and it worked. Right. And there were another round of spit takes. Right. They, like you said, they've given lie to the fact that, oh, no, it's impossible.
Yeah, it's totally possible. And Seeking Dawn was another one. I know AJ was disappointed by that one getting canceled for PSVR. It didn't get great reviews when it came to PC VR, but the fact was, I think those developers were not happy with the huge graphical downgrade the game was going to have to take to get it running on PlayStation VR. Hello Games was like, it's fine. It's going to be a huge graphical downgrade, but the fact is you're going to be able to play it in VR, and the immersion is more than going to make up for that huge, level of Vaseline smeared across your face. And I totally agree. And hopefully there's a pro patch coming, which will prove even more people wrong, saying, no, we can not only do this, but we can also make it look good. Kind of think it looks good to begin with, honestly, like even with the the blurriness. Just
say it's part of the environment. It's very lightly foggy everywhere.
It's really foggy all the time. And I think the final part of this, his question when he says, "Will 2020 be the year of big PSVR games?" I think the last year or two of any console's lifespan is always when you see the best games.
Yeah,
because that's when developers have had enough time, more experience, and they're finally getting their game out. Whether it's somebody like Naughty Dog, who have had time to make Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and then they go, oh, and here's The Last of Us.
Right.
It's like, wow, this blows those games out of the water, for so many different reasons, even though Uncharted's amazing. You just say that they can't, you see that they came to grips with the system and also became better developers, better storytellers, better everything over the course of the system's lifespan. And so now we have all these different studios making PSVR games, PS4 games, and not only are there studios that are maybe finally getting their very first game out after at the tail end of the lifespan, but also all these other studios that have learned so much by making games throughout the course of the lifespan. I really think that 2020 and 2021 are going to be huge for PSVR and PS4 long after PS5 comes out.
And I think and that's an argument I think that is true for pretty much any console. I think the other thing that makes this unique is now that Sony has announced there will be a PSVR 2, it's like, oh, this is a real thing and it's not going away.
Yeah.
Because I can see there's probably plenty of developers who are like, is this just going to be another fad? Right? Okay, is it just, is the PSVR just going to have 2 or 3 years of like, okay, kind of cool support, and then it's just going to get shelved, and there's going to be just some weirdos and
Right.
shaved heads and black shirts that are going to kind of keep playing it until, oh wait.
And also the fact that they've already confirmed that PS4 games will be playable on PlayStation 5, and the PSVR headset that you have now will be playable on PlayStation 5, guarantees that we don't have to really worry about rebuying these games for remasters.
Right.
These games are going to be compatible with next gen, and so I think a lot of companies won't be scared to continue their development process of their games on the current gen hardware, because they know that maybe they'll just throw a couple patches out there when the PS5 comes out, so it'll be even better.
Yeah, because it's scary, especially for like an indie developer to say, okay, we're going to invest all this money and time developing for this console, and they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Sony seems to be making all the right moves and saying all the right things publicly. As long as it all pans out, in the future, and things are actually going to happen the way they say they are, I think PS5 and PSVR 2 are going to be kind of a can't miss thing.
Cool.
Let's hope anyway. And then finally,
Orseek, the Game Cat. Orseek. Sorry, Orseek. It's even there in quotes. Orseek, the Game Cat on Discord. #viewer takeover, like a pro. It seems most, if not all, gamers have met times when they don't feel like playing video games anymore and quit it. It lasted 10 years for me. Have any of you faced this situation, and what did you or would you do as an alternative hobby? Ooh.
Have you faced this before?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, like my gaming history is until probably the last 2 or 3 years. It was I find a game I really like, I get stupid obsessed with it, I play it an irresponsible amount of time, and then I realize, oh, I can't do this anymore, and I stop, and then I don't do any gaming at all for a while. VR has changed everything for me, including the way I play games. Although I found myself, there were many times I was playing Borderlands 2 when I should not have been playing Borderlands 2.
It happens.
But finding alternative hobbies, that's, I think there's a lot of people who go from video gaming to like tabletop and strategy gaming because it kind of scratches that same sort of itch for them. I mean, for me, my other hobbies, magic and fencing. But, yeah. But those have never been like replacements for gaming. It's just, I spend more time doing one and less doing the other. So,
I feel like I've always been a gamer since I was born. I've told the story a million times. My dad was always a gamer. We were programming games we had a basic cartridge for BASIC plugged into our Atari, and we were coding. This is like before I could even write. We were coding in BASIC, trying to like make a little dude ski down the screen, programming our own games, like just copying code from these giant books. And that's what I remember. That was my childhood.
Yeah.
I was doing. We were playing games and coding games. From day one. So it's always been a part of my life. I will say though that when the PlayStation 4 generation started and the PS4, I had one pre-ordered. It got delivered on launch day and from Amazon, and that was like, one of the first evidence or the first proof of evidence that I was an adult.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, I can just pre-order this and like, $400, it sucks, but I can actually afford it now.
Right.
It was proof that I, was actually an adult, and it felt pretty good to like, get one on launch day. But at the same time, I remember on launch day playing Assassin's Creed, playing Killzone, playing Knack. And going, this it's nice to have a new system that actually runs fast and feels new and a nice little I don't know, just something new after like 7 years of PlayStation 3. It was nice, but that's when I went, this gaming isn't doing anything new anymore. Gaming is just retreading the same steps. The worlds are getting a little bit bigger. The graphics are getting a little bit sharper. The frame rates still are 30 frames a second. Why can't we nail this frame rate thing? Right? And then, and I was sort of, even though I was still playing games, I was just losing interest daily. Nothing was really grabbing me. And when they announced PlayStation VR, I went, that sounds cool. And I had no idea it was going to be as good as it is. Pre-order one on Amazon. Things showed up, and immediately putting it on my head changed everything.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, what was I doing before the PSVR headset showed up? I was playing a lot of guitar. For me, I had two paths in life. I was always waiting tables, But while I was waiting tables, I was like, I wonder if I can make my music career take off. And I had this little band, I guess you'd call it, a little duo. It was me and this girl, I was gonna say Melissa. It's wrong. And she was a cello player.
Yep.
And so we were just like this little duet that would play open mic nights around Worcester, all original songs that I wrote, sang, and played guitar, and she'd accompany me with cello. And there was a part of me that was like, hey, this is pretty damn cool. And for the first time in my music career, I found something that people were enjoying, that I was really enjoying, that seemed to be hitting on every note. And I was like, and then the YouTube thing started taking off, and I was like, wow, I don't know which one of these is gonna work quicker and take off faster. Yeah. But I just went with the one that did, and I don't play guitar as much as I used to, but that's the other thing I'd be doing if I wasn't playing video games, playing guitar, writing songs.
And not only that, if you look at the history of the channel, when before VR came, were we talking about the latest releases for PS4? No, we were talking about classic games. We were talking about retro-ish, I guess is stretching.
We were all over the spectrum.
Yeah, but what we weren't talking about was cutting edge. What's coming out this week?
Right.
Because it was boring. Like Ryan said, we were at a generation where, okay, so fine, I can read the name of the manufacturer etched in the bullet casing as it ejects out of my gun.
Gary's, right?
But it's still the same story we played over and over again. It's still the same, beige and gray and orange universe. But VR changed everything and brought a breath of fresh air to this genre that we love.
And in all fairness, when I'm not playing VR games, I'd still rather play a retro game than a PS4 game. I really would. Yeah. I've got my Retro Freak plugged in. I was playing Circle of the Moon the other day. Oh, love old Castlevania, Metroidvania style games. Oh man, so good. Definitely be rather doing that than Sekiro or whatever new PS4.
I would say, I got my PS4. And it came with the Uncharted 4. No, which one did it come with?
Maybe the collection. I don't know.
And I was like, oh, okay, well, I tried the VR games. I should at least try this. I played it for, I don't even know if I made 5 minutes. It's like, oh, okay, great. Moving on.
VR makes everything better, does?
Yes, it does.
Including our lives. All right, you guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Another episode of Viewer Takeover. Of course, if you want your Viewer Takeover question or comment read and discussed on next week's episode, make sure you put hashtag Viewer Takeover, all one word, in the comments below, or click that Discord link and leave your question or comment in the Viewer Takeover channel.
Yep.
Also, make sure you hit us up on patreon.com/withoutparole
games
and hook us up with $1 or more every month. Trust me, we're living off of you and almost you alone.
He really is.
Gotta put that caveat in there. YouTube's paying us a little, but not very much. Also, what else are we going to tell them? Change your name to GameCat because you're fluffy and you're awesome. And we love you. And make sure you put hashtag GameCat in the comments. And you know what, man? My brain is fried. Let's end this thing.
Okay.
Have a wonderful night, everybody. We love you all.
Bye.
That was tough. I actually felt.
See you guys in October.
Actually felt brain cells falling asleep as I was saying that last sentence.
And we're done.
It's totally ending right now.
Yep.